短线叫多，短线叫多。
Yes. Okay, number 1. First thing you have to do is distribute this exponent. It goes to every single part that's in the parentheses. Okay, it has to go to all the parts that are in the parentheses. So, first things first. 3 squared, x squared, y to the negative 4, over, thank you. Where's Isaac? This is for Isaac. Over 2 cubed, x to the negative 3, y cubed. Okay, remember, we only move things that are attached to a negative exponent. Negative numbers are fine, negative exponents are not. Okay, if you work this out, 3 squared gives you 9. We have x squared on the top. X to the third moves to the top. 2 cubed is 8. Y to the third is on the bottom. Y to the fourth also moves to the bottom. 9 over 8 does not reduce, so it stays just like that. These are next to each other, so you add the exponents. So x to the 5th, and in the denominator, y to the 7th. Okay, for number 2, anytime you have a binomial squared, so that's 2 things inside parentheses attached by a plus or minus, you cannot distribute that exponent. You have to write it out twice. So 3x plus 5 written out twice. Okay? 2 different ways you could do this. We could distribute first. So if I distribute this, that would give you 3x squared plus 5x multiplied by 3x plus 5. Then those 2 you will FOIL together. So FOIL means first times first. So 3x squared times 3x gives you 9x cubed. Outsides, 3x squared times 5 gives you plus 15x squared. I stands for inside, so 5x times 3x gives you another 15x squared. And finally, 5x times 5 is plus 25x. Combine the like terms, so add together the x squareds. That gives you 9x cubed plus 30x squared plus 25x. Okay? Number 3, exact same thing that I just did. We're just going to FOIL. Okay? It does not matter if the exponents are different. So FOIL f is first times first, so 2x squared times x gives you 2x cubed. O is for outsides. 2x squared times negative 5 gives you negative 10x squared. I is the insides. 5 times x gives you plus 5x. L is last. 5 times negative 5 is minus 25. That's it. There are no like terms because you have no exponents that are exactly the same. So you just rewrite the answer. For number 4, simplify. Remember, you only need to move what's attached to a negative exponent. Okay, that negative 3 is fine. The only thing that moves is the negative exponent. Moves to the other side of the fraction. So negative 3 stays in the numerator, and that's the top. X, and it becomes a positive in the denominator, so x squared. Now, make sure on these, when this says multiply, get your answer, leave it alone. Don't factor it again. Okay, you have to read the instructions. These were multiply, so leave them like that. This one is factor, so that means we're breaking things down. First thing you always want to look for is a GCF. So I can take out a 4. If I factor out a 4, divide out a 4, I'm left with x squared minus 4y squared. Remember, this says factor completely, so almost always you're going to have to factor twice. Okay, so we still have a 4. This is difference of squares. So 1 positive, 1 negative. X squared breaks down to x and x. 4y squared breaks down to 2y and 2y. So 4 times x plus 2y times x minus 2y. Okay, again, factor completely. Always look for GCF first. We can take out a 2. Left behind is 4x squared minus 25y squared. This is difference of squares, so 2. Don't forget to bring that 2 down. A lot of people will forget that 2, and that'll mess you up. So 1's positive, 1's negative. 4x squared breaks down to 2x and 2x. 25y squared is 5y and 5y. And that's your answer. So 2 times 2x plus 5y times 2x minus 5y. Okay, next page. Again, we're still factoring almost all of this test. The biggest part of it is just factoring. Okay, so look for a GCF. There is no GCF for all 4 terms. So we're going to look for a GCF for just the first 2. You can take out a 7 and c squared. Left behind would be c minus 4. Then whatever sign is in the middle, that's what sign you're going to take out. So plus GCF between the second 2 terms is a 3. Left behind, c minus 4. Since these are exactly the same, they make one group. So c minus 4 is one group. And whatever's left behind is your other group. So 7c squared plus 3. So we have a group c minus 4 and 7c squared plus 3. Then for number 8, look for a GCF. Here you can take out a GCF. They all have a y in common. So if you take out a y, we're left with a cubed plus a minus a squared c minus cy, or excuse me, minus c. Check out the y. Now look for GCF between the first 2. First 2 has an a, so y, you're going to take out an a. Left behind is a squared plus 1. Take out this negative. So minus c is the GCF. Again, left behind is a squared. If you have a negative, divide out a negative, it becomes a positive. Then I'm just going to regroup these. So I still have a y. I have a squared plus 1. That does not break down because it's addition. If it was negative, then that would break down more. But this one does not. And then left behind, you have a minus c. So that's completely factored. Number 9, factor completely. This is cubes. So what cubed makes 125x cubed is 5 cubed minus y cubed. Write out your SOAP signs. So same, opposite, always positive. Same as the problem is negative. Opposite's positive. AP is always positive. The first thing is 5x. The second thing is y. The first thing squared. So 5x squared. Okay, put it in parentheses because we're going to have to square both the number and the variable. Combination of both, so 5x, y, and then the second thing squared. So if I simplify this, we'll have 5x minus y on the out, or on one parentheses. 5x squared is 25x squared plus 5xy plus y squared. So you have to square all the parts inside there. Okay, when we have quantities squared, this is a q equation, so we're just going to replace that with a q, so q squared minus y squared. Now that looks like difference of squares, and it's right. So q plus y times q minus y. Then you can't leave things like that. We then replace what you took out. So x plus 5 plus y and x plus 5 minus y. It stays just like that. So x plus 5 plus y, x plus 5 minus y. What we took out does not change, so that does not become negative there. Okay, that was a big mistake on that last quiz. Here again, quantities, so replace these with q's. So q squared minus 5 times q minus 14. This is going to be a trinomial, and your parentheses, since it's negative at the end, you know you have to have one positive, one negative. What multiplies to 14 is either 1 and 14 or 2 and 7. This negative tells us that we need to find the difference, so subtract them. We could get a 13 or a 5. I'm going to choose the 2 and 7 because it gives me a target of 5, and that's what the middle number is. The bigger number goes with the same sign that's in the middle. So 7 goes with the negative parentheses. So 7 and 2. Then I'm going to replace what was in there. So x minus 1. Then combine like terms if you can. So x minus 1 plus 2 gives you x plus 1. Just combine your numbers. And then x minus 1 minus 7 is x minus 8. X minus 8. Okay, find the volume. Volume means multiply all three sides. It doesn't matter which order you write these in as long as you multiply all of the three sides together. Okay, so multiply all three sides. To start that, we have three binomials, so three terms that have two parts. So we're going to FOIL the first two binomials together. Okay, so FOIL these two together. So first times first, x times 3x gives you 3x squared. O stands for outside, so x times negative 5 is negative 5x. I for insides, negative 2 times 3x gives you minus 6x. Negative 2 and negative 5, positive 10. We're still going to multiply all of that by 2x plus 1. So combine your like terms. Gives you 3x squared minus 11x plus 10. And I'm going to multiply that by 2x plus 1. I'm going to rewrite that so I have a little bit more room. 3x squared minus 11x plus 10. And then line up underneath it 2x plus 1. So if we do just old school multiplication, 1 times 10 gives you positive 10. Remember, you have to put in the signs, but we do not carry here. 1 times negative 11x is negative 11x. 1 times 3x squared is positive 3x squared. Add in a 0. Okay, that's your skipping a space. 2x times 10 gives you plus 20x. 2x times negative 11x gives you negative 22x squared. And 2x times 3x squared, 6x cubed. These are perfectly lined up so that you can combine like terms. That'll give us 6x cubed minus 19x squared plus 9x plus 10. So 6x cubed minus 19x squared plus 9x plus 10. Okay, on number 13, this is talking about the volume of a rectangular solid. Okay, so remember, the first thing you're always going to do is divide by the height. So divide by what they gave you. So 2x squared, or excuse me, to the fourth minus 2x cubed minus 40x squared divided by, they said the height was 2x squared. If you divide that, that's going to leave you with x squared minus x minus 20. Now, if they ask for the area, this would be the answer. But it asks for the length and the width separately, so that just means to factor. Okay, so just factor. If it's negative at the end, you know you have to one of each. What multiplies to give you 20 could either be 1 and 20, 2 and 10, or 4 and 5. This tells you to subtract them, so we could get a 19, an 8, or a 1. Now remember, even though it's not there, there's an invisible 1 on that coefficient. So I'm going to use the 4 and the 5. The bigger number goes with the same sign that's in the middle. So the 5 goes in the parentheses with the negative, 4 goes with the positive, and this just breaks down to x and x. So the possible length and width are x plus 4 and x minus 5. Doesn't matter which one is which, just as long as you know those are the two possibilities. Same thing here. If the volume is 27 minus 27y cubed, the height is 27, that means divide. So that'll reduce to give you 1 minus y cubed. What are the length and width? That means to factor. This is cube factoring, so put in your SOAP sign. So same, opposite, always positive. Same as negative, opposite's positive. AP, always positive. The first thing broken down is 1. The second part broken down is y. First thing squared, so 1 squared, still just 1. Combination of both, 1y. And finally, the second thing squared. Sometimes you have to clean that up. Here, you're not going to have to change anything. So 1 minus y times 1 plus, if you write 1y or just y, it's the same thing, plus y squared.